Okay, we are live. Homeless Left, live in Chicago. The DNC is starting this week today. It's Monday, and the protesters showed up. There was some question of whether they would actually arrive after all of the switching around, the devastation we saw in the Democratic Party, making the switch around from demented Joe Biden, replacing him with Harris. It seems like they might have captured some of the people that were sick and tired of Biden, and they might have sat this one out. But it seems, and this was our instinct all along, the Homeless Left, it seems that the sentiment of the protesters this whole time for the last 10 months has been that we want to end the genocide. They are sick and tired of the military-industrial complex. They are sick and tired of the war machine, the psychopathic warmongers that run this country. And they're sick and tired, frankly, of the two-party system, which is really an oligarchy. And they're out here to call bullshit on the Democratic Party, regardless of who the front person is. So for now, we're going to go ahead and bring in our friend of the show and coordinator for the week with us, KPFK Radio and Community Public Radio Network, Don DeBar. Don, it's great having you back with us. Let me grab you in here real quick here. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. Hi.
Hey,
how
Don.
You doing, brother? How are you? Welcome to Chicago.
We're here. We're in Chicago. We're doing it.
That's right, baby.
I'm glad we were able to check in today with you because the idea of getting us all here at the same time and having this conversation throughout the week was a fabulous idea. I loved it. We're here now. I know you're setting up shop right now. We're going to have the studio ready to go where we can keep this dialogue going throughout the week. How are things looking for you when you got into town? Because for me, I'm still trying to get settled and figure out. This is a pretty fantastic time. Wouldn't you agree, Don?
Yes, indeed. It's also a very interesting time in the sense that the Chinese use the term. And I hope it doesn't get too interesting along those lines, to tell the truth. There's a really strong sense of really supported by the facts that some things that have existed for a long time, ways of doing things, are done forever. Clearly, the Democratic Party selecting its candidates through one mechanism or another that involves the constituency making the choice, that's over forever. If you go back to what happened in 2016 when they stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders outright and then pled in court under oath, yes, we did, and we're allowed to, so go away, basically. And then in 2020, didn't even bother to have a convention. They blamed it on COVID and essentially put out a 4-day public access TV show from somebody's basement. I was reminded of that coming into Chicago, looking at the road signs that said Aurora, Illinois, where Wayne's World public access TV program was produced. And now this year, they blocked people from being able to run in the primaries against Biden. They hand it to Biden, and then they push Biden out of the way, and they give it to Harris, who has 0 votes for her to be the candidate of the Democratic Party. She knows no signatures, no votes, no nothing. A bunch of rich guys said, let's make her president. And it looks like the media and a lot of other people are signing right up to that. So, this has always been an oligarchy, but it's losing even the trappings now of anything other than that.
It's pretty wild how this process unfolded here. I have to give the young people here credit. They saw this coming. They knew that this was not okay. This was BS. They're calling it. They're seeing this. That's why they showed up. I know there are a lot of people in certain circles that said, it looks like after Harris got in there, this whole idea of the genocide Joe, that whole approach to we want to get him out of here. He's the problem. Genocide Joe is the problem. Well, now he's gone. Are the people still going to show up? Well, the answer, that question has been answered today. Yes, they will show up because they understand the system itself is rigged. I mean, we can do that. We can borrow the phrase from Donald Trump from 2015. We can say the system is rigged. How we go about choosing a political candidate for the Democratic Party is a rigged system. This is a clear example of that. There's no other way around it. To defend that, to defend the democratic process with Kamala Harris getting the nomination this week is like defending a genocide in Gaza as if it's not happening. It's the same logic. It's not grounded in reality.
It's actually just like that, isn't it? When you consider who's in charge of well, I mean, that's another question. Another question is actually who is in charge. It didn't take a genius to pick out the fact that Joe Biden walking down the street with his sneakers tied to a guy on either side of him might be a little non compos mentis like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And yet he, I won't say glided in, but sort of staggered into the White House with that kind of assistance. And they went to war with Russia. They started banging boats around the South China Sea again with China and a host of other things that are worse than anything Trump ever even contemplated doing. And then, of course, just like when Obama got elected in 2008 and into 2009 before he was inaugurated, when the Israelis started bombing the shit out of Gaza and taking thousands of civilian casualties, people asked Obama to speak to it in December of 2000. And he said, there are only one president at a time. I have nothing to say until January 20th. And then after January 20th, of course, all he had to say was, how much is the next check supposed to be? And that's what happened. Biden, it's almost unimaginable that anything worse could have been done to the people in Gaza than their condition when Biden came into office on January 20th. Certainly, any hope that there was going to be any restoration of the status quo ante, not even back to 1967, but at least a return to Golan Heights and an acknowledgement that Jerusalem is not Israeli, that was gone with Trump. And he's not worse than any of them. Since 1948, it's been one step after another in the same direction. But now you have openly on television fighter jets and bombers and all kinds of missile attacks on civilians across the board, and people just sitting by and watching it. And what's unfortunate, on the one hand, it's very encouraging to see these kids be there.
Yeah.
Okay. On the other hand, it points something out, which is that we do not have a political technology up to the task facing us right now. And you pointed out that you have a genocide going on, and no matter what happens, that's not going to be stopped before January 20th.
Yeah.
Really? Why not? Why don't we know how to do that? Okay, and I mean we don't. I mean, admitting that, as many people that show up today, whether they're going to quibble over whether it was 5,000 or 20,000 or whatever, because there was an argument about the permit should be 15,000 accommodated or whatever. Those numbers are an admission and actually a conviction of our impotence, because in the face of a genocide, there should be millions of people in place pushing this goddamn thing over until somebody stops and says, what do you want? And we're nowhere near that.
Yeah, we're not even close. But it is a start. I mean, the fact that we have nothing like this has happened since '68. We talk about Chicago '68. I mean, this could still be a moment like that for this generation. Did '68 actually end our American imperialism in Vietnam? Did it end everything that came after that? No, not at all. But it was a start of something for that generation. And I think we're in the middle of that right now. Even if there is no solution, like you said, Don, is there any way out of this funding of Israel? Is there, no matter who gets in, or is this not a matter of, this is a matter of principle? That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that there's people that are fed up with our system, the youth, but not just the youth. Anybody who's here right now that has a sign up in the air, has a button on their shirt, whatever they're yelling at the top of their lungs, they are tired of the system that we're in. Can we fix the system? That's a whole nother question. But out of principle, it's enough to show up and say, we've had enough. We are mad as hell. To quote an old film, an old favorite, we are mad as hell.
And with that, Patty Chayefsky. Are you there, Matt? You kind of dropped out.
Okay.
You there? You kind of dropped out. Can you hear me? I'm looking at a blank screen for you. It's got your name.
Give me 1 second here, Don. Hey,
Go
Don,
ahead,
1
bro.
second here. I got a little sound problem here. Hold on.
No problem.
Testing. Okay, testing.
Hello.
Testing.
You. There's no image. I've got a black screen for you with your name under it. You got the window and everything, but there's no image. I think your camera.
Testing.
Okay, well, now he's gone. Well, for those who are watching, now I've got this all to myself. Yeah. I don't want to sound like Donnie Downer. Okay. I think it's very encouraging to see, another generation of kids pick up the mantle and go into the streets and try to struggle and get something better. I think it's part of the way that we regenerate our, social thing, and so it's encouraging to see that we're still capable of it, despite all of the changes that have happened over the last couple of generations that seem intended to quell that. So, hello. Hey, hello. Okay. So anyway, the point I wanted to make is that what is happening is severe enough that it has to be addressed. We have to learn how to address this kind of stuff. There's several things right in front of us right now that are of an existential nature. Not having a war with Russia, which seems like it's certainly a difficult task to achieve at this point. It has its own momentum and a whole lot of powerful folks as advocates and drivers of actions. That's an existential question. If we have a war with Russia, there may be a nuclear exchange, there may not. There will certainly be a whole collapse of whole sections of the global economy and of the global political economy. And it'll take perhaps 100 years or more to right that so that we are where we should have been had that not happened. And it could go right into, a nuclear war or some other unforeseen catastrophic event or series of events. We have no way of coping with that. We don't even know what the fuck is going on most of the time. And that's those of us, you, me, all of us that are involved in looking at this stuff with all of the things that we do. Most of the information that we acquire is through virtual means. And so it's only as reliable as the source. Sources are, on the other end of some electronic device. We have no idea where they come from. And the things that we see up close are not dispositive of the question of what happened. We get to see a few politicians vote on things, and that ostensibly is the process that results in these things being done. There's a very strong case to be made that this is a shit show that is done to explain to us why things are happening around us in a way that makes us feel like we were part of the decision-making process when we're clearly not. There's a bunch of other things that we have to resolve. But when we're staring at like the slaughter of 100,000 people already out of a population of 2.5 million, and now half of that 2.5 million being in a condition of starvation and deteriorating rapidly, and we can't find anything in our hands to do anything about that in the face of an election, that I think we're in a really bad way, and I think we need to really deeply reevaluate where we are and what we need to do to get out of this situation, or we ain't gonna be around that much longer. Anyway, I'm out. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow, Matt.
Okay, let's see here. We are back. Sorry, Don. Let me make sure I get you back in here. Okay. Sorry, guys. We had some technical problems here. Thank you, Don, so much for winging it for us. Let's see if we can still get you in here. Okay, no worries. Okay, so it's a work in progress, guys. Thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in, and Don DeBar for coming on with us as we're setting everything up for our full week of engagement with you guys from the DNC right here in Chicago. We're going to have more of our team members be joining us throughout the week. Craig Pasta Jardula, that's the Pasta to Go, and the Convo Couch will be with us. He'll be getting in tonight. We're going to be setting up a studio here with Don and checking in with people live on the ground. We got a bunch of others that will be joining us as well. So hold on real quick here. Let me make sure, just in case. I know, Don, again, thank you so much for winging it when we had lost our signal here in the streets because we were out here with the protesters. Let's make sure. I'm trying to find him if he's still here. Cannot seem to find him. Okay, no worries. Okay, so again, more coming for you guys. We got more coming to you from here, from Chicago, throughout the week. Our other guests will be joining us. We're going to be having conversations. We plan to with Russell from Due Dissidence. We got Kit Cabello of Hardlands Media is going to be joining us. Dr. Wilmer Leon's going to be with us again. He was on our show last Thursday. We had a great conversation about how the corruption of the DNC, with all the people that have been trusting them for so many years, it's about time. We're sick of getting stabbed in the back. As the old line from George W. was always, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again." Something like that, I believe, was the line, give or take. But yeah, we saw immediately getting here on the ground that the protesters did show up in droves, and they're going to be here. They're not going anywhere. The first speeches are starting tonight. We have Hillary Clinton speaking. We got Jill Biden speaking, a few others speaking. We're going to have commentary on how all that went for you guys tomorrow when we join up at the studio with Don and the others. Let's see, who else do we have? I don't want to not mention someone. Oh yeah, of course, Nick Cruz, Revolutionary Blackout Network, is going to be with us as well throughout the week. We're very, very excited about the lineup, but not just the lineup, but the fact that we can have these conversations. That's what it's about, guys, is having these conversations. And because who else is going to do it? The mainstream ain't doing it. They're giving us the normal propaganda. Our populist right friends, they're not even doing it because they're having a very hard time, even though they're very critical of the Democratic Party. They're very critical of the war machine. They're very critical of the Ukraine war and the proxy war we've been funding for the last 2 years. They don't have much to say. They don't have much to say about the genocide in Gaza. And when they try to criticize the Democratic Party and they're calling them communists and left-wing radicals, they're completely off. And we know this. They have no concept of what they're even talking about. And it's actually losing them the election. Trump's tweet, we saw it last night from Twitter because he's back on Twitter. Elon gave him the Twitter account back. He recently posted that little artwork. We'll show it to you guys tomorrow if you haven't seen it. I can't do it from the phone here right now, but the Kamala picture with the communist flags, basically depicting this administration as left-wing radicals. That's not true. These are neocon neolibs. It's what we call Hillary 2.0. If Donald Trump wants to win this thing, he should be referring to this as Kamala as Hillary 2.0. But maybe the drunken Hillary. I don't know. We're hearing some of the stuff now coming out about Kamala's sobriety. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow as well. And again, checking in with Revolutionary Blackout Network. We got Kit Cabello, Hardlands Media. We have Russell Doblar on the Due Dissidence. Those guys are blowing up right now. We love your guys' work. Russell and Keaton on Due Dissidence. Who else? Yeah, Dr. Wilmer Leon's going to be with us. I'm hoping I didn't miss anything. Yeah, the Convo Couch, Craig Pasta Jardula, and of course, Don DeBar is holding it all down for us from the studio, KPFK, and like his community network, the public community network station as well. So he's going to be our kind of our point man as we go through the week. We really, really appreciate you guys engaging with us. Oh, we were able to see that some of our guys, they got here before we did this morning and met up with Jimmy Dore. That was awesome. You guys were talking to the protesters in the streets, talking about what's going on tonight. Of course, all of us are going to have something to say about this first night. So definitely there's going to be even after convention coverage late tonight. We'll see if we can get in on some of that. If not, no worries. We'll definitely be seeing you guys tomorrow and throughout the week. Thank you guys so much. Let's see if there's any, we do appreciate all that. Oh, yeah, this was awesome. Yeah. Jungle Jer had put, we're not going to take anymore. That's right when we lost the feed. That's right when we lost the feed earlier. But I hope you guys were able to see some of that protesting behind me. I couldn't hear Don very well, so I had to move a little bit away from him at the time. Yeah, there's that. But we did put on our Twitter some of the more intense of the protesting earlier today. And it's going to be going all today. It's going to be going all night, all tomorrow, all the next day. And they can the mainstream media can pretend it's not happening. They can do that all they want. We're going to cover it accurately. And again, one more commentary on our right-wing populist friends, all the MAGA people that watch our show. We love you. We know you guys mean well. But if your candidate does not get it together and understand what's actually happening in the streets, the youth are calling out the establishment. It is a uniparty. They're sick and tired of this democracy that's been taken from us. You guys get that part. You guys understand that Kamala was selected, not elected. But you don't understand why the protesters are in the street. It's time to educate yourselves. We have to get educated about the stuff that we got wrong. It's very important we do that. We have to have some self-reflection moments. And it's time for the right-wing populists, even though they got Ukraine right, they got COVID right, they got a lot of shit right, but they got this wrong. You guys have to understand it's important to be on the right side of history, be on the side of the protesters. That's what has to happen if you want to be on the right side of things moving forward. Because again, you got everything else right. You were on the right side of COVID. You're on the right side of Ukraine war. A lot of the stuff you've been on the right side. By the way, Trump calling out the establishment and calling the entire system rigged in 2015, that you got right. We're applying that now. That's what the protesters are saying. Be on their side. They've had enough. They're basically another incarnation of Trump 2015. That's what they are. But you can't tell because of their signs, and you keep calling them communists and radical lefties. They're not. That's like saying that Trump was a radical right wing. He wasn't. He was anti-establishment. He was a populist, a real populist voice. And I think he's lost that voice. And I think he might be beating himself this time around. This is really sad to have to lose to someone like this. Kamala is the avatar candidate. That's what it looks like to us. She is the avatar candidate. So yeah, thanks for that, Jungle Jer. And right on, Dawn. And I appreciate that, Jungle Jer. Thank you so much for keeping it going with us. We had a little mix-up earlier, not mix-up, but a technical issue. And Don DeBar held down the fort for us, as he's going to do for us all week long. We really, really appreciate that. And I'm very excited to get the whole team together here. We'll have everything together tonight. And by tomorrow, you guys are going to see us live from the studio. Roundtable, kind of like a homeless left roundtable that we're going to be setting up. Oh, I didn't even do this, guys. This is the hat. That's it. Leslie got me this hat. It's Free Palestine. I've been wearing it wherever we go. All the protests we go to, been wearing the hat. It's very important. We show our support. We show that we're on the right side of history. That's what we're doing out here this week. And we're being thoughtful journalists that are reporting honestly, with courage, with conviction, with integrity, and above all else, did I forget one? No, that's it. That's it. Courage, conviction, principle. That's it. Principle. You got to have principle. Apply it all the time. Principle is only principle when you're applying it when it's inconvenient to do so. If you only do it when it's convenient, then it's called a hobby. I think if I to quote Jimmy Dore, it's only a hobby. If you only apply principle when it's convenient to do, you got to be able to apply it when it's inconvenient as well. And that's what makes it principle. And it is inconvenient to be out here with these guys. And it's inconvenient to not have a true candidate to stand behind, especially if you've been a Democrat your whole life. I mean, we jumped that ship years ago, but some of these kids, I don't want to call them kids, but the younger generation, they've been on a lot longer than us. So this is a lot harder transition for them to, for the first time, not to commit, not to show their loyalty, not to show their tribal mentality. But we all have that moment. It happens for us. So we appreciate when that moment comes, and because we've all had it, and some people are having it right now, and it's great to see. It's beautiful to see the moment that you detach from your tribe and you start having critical thinking that starts coming out of yourself, because you have that ability. We have that ability as human beings not to be told what to think, what to feel, what to do. Give me my next command, master. Give me my next command. What's my next thing to think? What's my next thing to get excited about? Let me know so I know. Oh, it's Kamala. Okay, she is the avatar candidate. That is what's happening this week. And we're going to be looking forward, again, to talking to all of our fellow commentators in the independent media universe. This lane has been open. It's a wide lane. And that's why we're here, guys. We're here because the lane has been left open. We've been left homeless from the tribe that we thought that we aligned with. We thought we were part of the good guys. That's what we were told. We thought that we were about the people and human rights and anti-war and healthcare for all and pro-worker. And all these things that matter to us, and bodily autonomy. We thought these things were important to our tribe, but it turns out it wasn't. None of those things were important. None of them. They became pro-war. They became anti-worker. They became anti-bodily autonomy. So they can't even say that anymore. They can't even use that one anymore because of COVID. You guys know that. But let's be consistent with our principles. Let's let them know that we're mad as hell. And Jungle Joe, thanks for helping me out with that one earlier. We are mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. We'll see you guys tomorrow for more coverage from live here at Chicago DNC 2024. Peace out, guys. We'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.